Parents, today I want to talk about a challenge that unfortunately too many kiddos nowadays struggle with, and that's sensory processing. This may look like sensory sensitivities to certain things. If children can't handle loud noises, if they can't handle big social situations, but it can also look like, sensory seeking, where they need the big hugs, they need the weighted blankets, they need more support in those overwhelming situations. And so I wanted to talk about this today because I wanted to talk about it through the lens we look through with pediatric chiropractic, because so many people have tried a lot of different things and it still struggles to really help kids get to the root cause. So this video is for you. Honestly, if you've tried a lot of different angles, how we get to the bottom of it and how we want to be able to really help your children to thrive, even if they started with sensory struggles at a young age. And the best way to do this is to really dive into the development of our kids, of really our babies. Because here's the truth of it. And what I started to understand as a parent of 4 boys is that sensory system actually starts developing at birth, even before birth, when babies are in utero. My oldest son, Micah, struggles with a lot of sensory, struggles throughout his development. And putting these things together in a developmental model helps us see where they started and really how we can get to the bottom of them. So I have this triangle drawn out for you guys because when we look at it from an infant developmental standpoint and we look at the basic functions first, eating, pooping, and sleeping, right? That's kind of what babies do in order in a way, is they're going to eat, they're going to nurse, they're going to take that bottle, then they're probably going to poop, and then hopefully they go to sleep, right? So if all of these things are going well, that is their sensory system at ease through the smooth muscle, through the systems, through what we call the automatics or the autonomic systems within their body that are really helping them to feel comfortable with their environment. All they need to do, right? We joke in our office, all babies need to do is eat, sleep, poop, and be cute, right? If they're doing that for the first 6 months of their life, rock on, we can check the boxes, they've done the basics. Well, the next thing that babies start to move into when they start to toddler it out is they start to develop that motor and movement system. We see this at birth just with head control, latching, sucking, swallowing, those things. But when they hit, 6 months on, we start to see rolling, we start to see crawling, and then we start to see walking. So we really need to check these next boxes because before that, the basics, that was all smooth muscle movement. This is motor muscle movement. And so often, if kiddos struggle with this, if they're more toe walkers, if they won't roll to one side, if they struggle maybe with a torticollis and they're not as coordinated when they start to do these things, they can struggle a little bit here in that motor system. Now, why these two are so important is they're so important because both of these sides, they actually help put the sensory system at ease within the brain. And so that's why we eat, we poop, we sleep, we walk, we crawl, we roll, and then the sensory system starts to feel comfortable. That's why this point is right here, because the next step in brain development is those bigger brain functions. It's the social, it's the emotional, it's the behavioral. So when so many of our kiddos struggle with sensory processing struggles, it oftentimes affects the behavioral side of it. It affects the emotional side of it. And it affects the social side of it because it came after that development, but then it affects those higher cognitive developments that happen, honestly, around 5, 6, 7 years old, right when they're about to start school age. So if we've checked the boxes on all of these and we're doing the right things to help them eat, sleep, and poop, we're doing the right things to help them move, right? We've got them in all the right therapies. We've got them with the right, the right class, the right IEP, the right diet, the right probiotics, the right sleep schedule, all those different things, and they're still struggling with sensory ease. What do we need to do? We need to add something. And honestly, as a pediatric chiropractor, this is where we want to go back to the beginning. This is where we want to say, okay, what was the first to develop? What is that master controller of all of these basics to motor to big brain that helps it? And that is the brain and nervous system. And so when we look at this, for all our kid, this is the first step. See what that brain and that nervous system are doing. Now, we are able to do what we call scans. They're insight tests that we're able to do in our office that help us measure this. They measure the comfortability of that nervous system to say, okay, if that brain and nervous system aren't comfortably communication-wise in a tone sense to the rest of the body, then we might struggle with latching and nursing. Then we might struggle with smooth muscle movement and pooping. We might be too revved up where then we can't get to sleep. And these things build on each other. And if one of these bases isn't healthy, isn't working fully, isn't communicating all the way, then we're going to struggle up the ladder. We might struggle with motor. We might struggle all the way top with social emotional behavior. And a lot of times it comes with that sensory ease where you're just uncomfortable. So if your kiddos are struggling, honestly, with any of these things, but so often all of them come out and affect that sensory system, let us know. We've been so blessed to help numerous kids with this, the brain and nervous system, that then leads to good and so much above it that we would love to help you and help your child. We know every case, every kiddo, everything is totally different. This is why you dig in with your kids. This is why you're up late at night in Google. This is why you do the research that we want to hear that. So shoot us a direct message. We'd love to schedule a consult with you to dive more in to how the brain and nervous system can help your sensory challenges.